So at the beginning of Mass, I said we would talk a little more about this lovely feast we're celebrating today. You might be a little bit surprised that today we're celebrating Mary, the Mother of the Church. On the 1st of January, if you remember, we also celebrate a feast of Mary, and that feast is Mary, the Mother of God. And on the 3rd of March 2018, Pope Francis declared that the first Monday after the Feast of Pentecost would now be known as a special feast day in honor of Mary, the Mother of the Church. Why? Or why did Pope Francis decide to do that? Well, we know from the reading of the Gospel and the Gospel of John that when the Holy Spirit, which the Feast of Pentecost, which we celebrated yesterday, came down on the apostles, they were in an upper room, but Mary was with them. Why do you think Mary was with them? What was she doing there? Well, I would imagine, as any good mother would, now that her son had gone and entrusted his church to these people in the upper room, that she, as any good mother, was there to encourage them and support them and give them all the help that they needed. Also, I think there's another point there that Pope Francis was making when he established this feast day, and it was the importance of women in the church. Pope Francis, more than any other pope, is very aware of the church being very much a male body of people. And ever since he became pope, if you look at the things he said, the things he has done, he's been very conscious that we need to give women a higher standing and a sense of really, I suppose, authority in the church. And so that was part of the reason why he established this lovely feast day, Mary, the Mother of the Church. So she's right there next to Jesus. He went through his passion, death, resurrection, sent his Spirit back, and now, the day after, we celebrate this lovely feast of Mary. And the lesson for us, while we talk about this, is grand and we enjoy listening to this maybe, but the important thing that as Catholics, we ought to give Mary a special place, and we ought to have a devotion to Mary. And the supreme way of having a devotion to Mary, of honoring Mary, is by the recitation of the Rosary. And in the Rosary, we go through the life of Jesus and remember that every step of the way, Mary accompanied him. And so it's a beautiful prayer. And so I encourage you, when you're out for a walk, something I myself do every day when I go for a walk, I always have my beads with me, and it's a lovely time as you're walking along to say the Rosary. It's a lovely prayer. So maybe think about that, and I encourage you to do that.